webinar.
Interesting. All right. Hello, everybody. We are missing a couple of commissioners, so I am going to chair the meeting this evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Larkspur Park and Rec Commission, Thursday, June 17th, on a very hot Thursday night. Allison, will you take the roll?
Commissioner Harrison.
Here.
Commissioner Sunshine. I see she's here. You are muted.
I am here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Friedel.
Here.
And I'll note that Commissioner Keppel and Chair Blauvelt are absent.
All right. So this is the part of our meeting where we take public comment for items not on the agenda. Allison, do we have anybody out there?
We do, yes. So people in the audience, if you'd like to make public comment, you can raise your hand in the Zoom meeting. If you're calling in, you can dial *9, or I believe you could email to the Community Services Director prior to the meeting. I'm looking for any raised hands from our audience members. And I see one. Okay, Karen Laffey, you may unmute yourself for public comment.
Hi, I'm going to be speaking regarding the heritage tree, so that's after you approve your minutes. Can you hear me?
I can. So do you have anything on just to make a comment on that's not on the agenda?
Oh, I'm misunderstanding you. I thought you wanted to know who's out here. Do you want me to speak about the tree now or later?
No, it's okay. There's a moment in the agenda where there can be public comment on items not on the agenda. But if you're going to be speaking on item 4.1, we'll get back to you at that point.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so are there any other hands, Allison?
There's no further public comment.
Okay, then I will move to 3.1, the approval of the minutes of April 15th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
And I will second that.
Thank you. Allison, do you need a roll call vote for that, or?
Yes, very quickly. Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Commissioner Sunshine?
Aye.
Vice Chair Friedel?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so item 4.1 is the protest hearing on a heritage tree application at 130 Pepper Avenue. Franklin, are you and/or Neil doing the staff report?
Neil will be doing the staff report. So,
Hi, Neil.
Hello. Thank you, Park and Rec Commissioners, Vice Chair Friedel. The item before you tonight is a protest hearing on a request to remove a 72-inch silver maple tree that is located, it's a heritage tree located at the corner, pretty prominently on the corner of Elm and Pepper Avenues. On May 4th, the city received an application for tree removal from Cynthia Winship, the property owner at 130.
extend my most sincere thanks to
Apologies.
The applicant at 130 Pepper Avenue. With that, we did receive a arborist report from James Lascott that was dated April 21st, explaining that the tree does display, is fairly healthy, no signs of disease or pests, but it is located directly under a combination of power lines and appears to have been continuously pruned for growth into the power lines and the telephone pole. He indicated there's evidence of decay in the trunk due to clearance cuts, and just kind of summarized, said, due to significant negative attributes of this tree and its location, it presents a significant risk to nearby persons, property, or public utilities. So the city did issue a notice, a public notice on May 19th. And we did receive a letter of protest from Donald and Karen Leffy Walker at 99 Elm Avenue. And so we're here tonight to consider the protest under the municipal code. If a tree removal is protested, it goes to the Parks and Recreation Commission for decision to make findings under Larkspur Municipal Code Section 1216.070 subsection F, where you must make both findings 1A and B, and in addition to that, one of findings 2 in order to permit removal of the tree. The arborist report provides the rationale for the applicant on removal of the tree. It's incumbent on the Parks and Recreation Committee to review the application and the attached letter, hear from the applicants, any other interested party, obviously the protests, or any other members of the community who wish to voice their input. And then using the code section 1216.070 subsection F, make findings for or against removal of the tree, and then direct staff as necessary.
Thank you. Is that it, Neil?
That's it.
Okay,
You have any
so
questions?
does anybody have any questions of Neil? Seeing none, we will move to public comment on this matter. Allison, is anybody out there? I believe Karen's out there.
Yes, currently there's one hand raised. I believe this is the property owner, C. Winship, if you'd like to make comments.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I should have put my name on there. My name's Cindy Winship, and I and my husband and family were the property owners at 130 Pepper. We have lived here 13 years. Our reasons for wanting to remove this tree obviously were summed up in the arborist report, but mostly it's just because the tree is continuously growing into the wires. It looks okay when there is not foliage on it, but right now, like it just keeps, obviously the tree is getting bigger and it keeps growing further and further into the power lines, and there's a significant power line at that corner. And PG&E does come and cut the tree every year, but they don't always take the most care. So the tree has been hacked and hacked and hacked, which has compromised the health of the tree. And if you see it now, it looks like it's okay, like the branches, but when it is without leaves, it's totally imbalanced because that one side of the tree has been cut, and it's hard to maintain it. Another point, just none of our immediate neighbors, we've talked to all of our immediate neighbors. We've lived in this neighborhood a good amount of time, and none of our immediate neighbors have any issue with the tree coming down. We're happy to put more foliage into our yard. We don't want to have a yard without trees, but it's just this specific tree that is an issue for us.
Thank you, Cindy. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it on my part. Our arborist is on as well. So
We have questions of him.
Yeah.
Allison, is there any other hands?
There's no further hands raised. The previous commenter during public comment, I apologize, I can't recall your name from the list here. If you'd like to
Karen?
make it. Was that Karen?
Yes.
Okay, Karen, I'm going to unmute you to allow you to make your comments now.
Karen, if you're muted if you're speaking. Sorry, we can't hear you.
I think she almost unmuted, and in my asking her to
Yeah.
unmute, I might have remuted her. So I'm
Oh.
trying her again to ask
Okay,
to unmute.
thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Well, thank you to the Larkspur Parks and Recreation Commission for allowing me to speak. My name is Karen Laffey, as you heard, and I'm a 24-year resident of Larkspur, 15 of which as the homeowner. on Elm Avenue in Palm Hill. So I first became aware of a permit request to remove the silver maple heritage tree by reading a notice posted on the telephone pole by 130 Pepper. I walk by that tree every day in that corner, and fortunately I saw it because I had not received any other notice prior to seeing that posted on the telephone pole. So it was important for me to become involved because, as I just heard, the whole neighborhood's, I guess, been talking about this tree, but I wasn't in on those conversations. So I just really felt that knowing the entire neighborhood has been working closely with PG&E to remove trees and branches that were deemed hazardous for fire safety. I just questioned whether or not this tree had been put on a list of problem trees, and if it was PG&E that had pruned it. But what was their verdict? Because it's still there. And I know they have removed other trees that have similar proximity, commingling their branches. So I'm just curious about what PG&E said about this tree, because as I said, we have hundreds of trees on Palm Hill where branches are commingling overhead. And this tree was deemed healthy by their arborist, according to the report. And he said, this tree displays healthy foliage, shoot growth, and no signs of disease or pests. So my question is, especially after reading his report, and also the homeowner statement, we are constantly cutting back large branches to provide clearance. And the arborist statement said that the tree has been severely and continuously topped. Just what are the guidelines for heritage tree protection in Larkspur? You know, I know other cities have ordinances, particular months for pruning and other methods that should be applied so that a beautiful tree can remain healthy. So it appears that this tree can recover. I mean, if it's been hacked away and there's still nothing wrong with it, according to the arborist, its presence adds beauty to the entrance to Palm Hill. And I personally think, and so does my husband, that it deserves better attention. And there's really nothing to indicate that it's any different than any of the other trees, that it doesn't pose any larger danger than a lot of the other trees on Elm or Pepper, because they too have already been supposedly hacked away and they're still standing and no one's wanting to remove them. If you move this tree, you might as well remove all the rest, which I know is impractical and wouldn't happen. The problem here is, I think, is improper care, and I think it should remain based on what I've read. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Karen. Is there anybody else, Allison?
I'm looking for any further raised hands in our audience. And there is no public comment.
Thanks. Before I bring it back to, well, the virtual dais for commissioners to ask questions and discuss, Neil and/or Franklin and/or I see that Public Works, Rita Schock has joined us to answer the question in regards to the heritage tree, that how they are removed, how someone goes through the process, items. I want to say I had it in the top of my head, 12.1607 of the heritage tree removal, making those points. Do one of the three of you want to address the process? Because that was one of the questions within Karen's comments.
I think I'd asked to kind of clarify what really was the question. Is it, what is the process from the city standpoint, or what is the process for assessing or maintaining the care of the trees? I kind of heard a variety of questions in there. Maybe through the vice chair, you kind of direct.
Yeah, and I think one of the questions
we're in the process. I mean, we're in the process that is the city process for allowing heritage tree removal. And it's based on the findings in the code, which are not, entirely prescriptive in terms of sizes or certain actions. There's some subjective judgmental determinations involved, and the arborist is available, I think, to answer or respond to issues regarding the care or health of the tree. Also, I think the other question was PG&E. What did PG&E say, or so on? And we do have Rita here. She may have little insight, but I know PG&E is in a they are doing a lot of tree, it's a broadsword, cleaning, getting tree branches and trees away from power lines. And they're not exercising what you typically call ISA standards to do it.
Right.
We don't regulate how
Um,
to do that within the easements of the power line.
I'm not really sure we want to go down the rabbit hole that is PG&E, but thank you, Neil. Does anybody have any other questions on the commission of either Rita or Neil or the arborist that's in the audience?
And can I just note one thing? I believe
course.
that that if I think that the protesting party, Miss Laffey, lives, is it 99 Elm Avenue?
Don't have her letter right in front of me, Neil. Hold on.
Sorry, I'll check. I just wanted to check.
Yes, 99 Elm is on her letter.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she was beyond the limits of the noticing range, which is 300 feet.
Right, that's what I was gonna think. Thank you, Neil. Vicky or Elizabeth, do you have any questions or comments?
I would like to know from the arborist a little bit of information regarding the trunk. I'm trying to find exactly where they talked about it.
I know, I just saw that myself. Well,
I can address whatever you'd like me to.
I was taken by the one comment that the tree was healthy, but on the other hand, there was an issue with included bark, and I would like it if you could explain that a little bit.
Sure. Okay, this is James Lasco. I'm a consulting arborist, have been for 20 years, but I've been in the arboricultural industry for 40 plus years. Hello, commissioners. I'd like to just explain some of the findings. So it's a silver maple, which is actually native to the US, but it's actually more the eastern and southeastern states. And it is located near and under the high voltage lines, of which are usually 10 to 12,000 volts. And PG&E is required to maintain 8 feet at least of clearance of any foliage. And they have to make the cuts where they need to make the cuts. And silver maples are particular in that they don't handle decay very well. They're kind of similar to other trees that grow along streams like poplars, where just the smallest cut creates a lot of decay in the trunk. And they also have the misfortune of kind of poor structure oftentimes, where they have limbs that are too closely connected. And as each trunk gets bigger, they and expand, they start, if there's a narrow attachment, then there's decay that forms between the two trunks. And they have a tendency to break off in those areas. Those are chronic weakened areas. And I know it's sometimes confusing in my reports where I say it's healthy, but the condition could be bad. So I separate those between like health in terms of foliage and pest or disease, but condition I can include more structural issues. And this is my concern there, in that the continued removal, which is considered not an ISA approved method, which is really topping. They're topping parts of the tree to prevent it from sprouting into the lines. And so it's a chronic problem of decay in all those limbs. And there is the problem that if in a high wind, those limbs that are attached to that trunk can break off. It also creates some more of a lot of dead wood in that area that can't be avoided. So if there was a spark, there's more fuel than there would be normally. And in terms of, so that's where I get my findings of the tree. Is really not in a great location for its size on that close to the utility lines. It does create a hazard and a risk of either limbs breaking over the road or over the walkway, or the potential for a spark and then having fuel for a fire. Now, in terms of my understanding of PG&E, they have a whole priority system as to what they're willing to cut down in terms of trees. So they tend to go with higher risk trees first. And obviously they have budgets they have to deal with. So it's kind of in their interest to decide, well, it's better if we just remove this due to the high flammability plus the maintenance costs. And I think that sometimes they're open to the idea of not having a tree there, but I don't think they get into the detail of the level of risk that I was addressing. And that's why it may not have been included in their list of tree removals, because basically they're doing kind of a cost benefit analysis. And yeah, not so much, what a homeowner is willing to risk, the liability of the homeowner.
Thank you, James. Vicky, did you have a specific question, or did that?
No, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Lisbeth, any questions?
Yeah, I seek guidance from commissioners who have been through this quite a bit. I'm wondering, in the ordinance, there's no specific mention of there's a safety mention, but nothing specifically about the PG or under electrical wires. Is that something that we need to, I just feel like these kinds of issues are going to come up more and more. Is that something that we might need to seek some additional guidance on?
Well, I think that being the oldest commissioner here, sorry.
Longest serving, most seasoned, not old.
Longest serving. I know that about 4 years ago, maybe more, we talked about doing an update on the heritage tree and getting an arborist in, and there's people in the state of California that would come help us rewrite that. Because I think you're right. I think that component is probably missing from the code, and we'd have to go through the city, obviously, and there's a much bigger, response here that we'd have to deal with. But PG&E and trees clearly became an issue in California in the last 5 years. So it's probably something that needs to be addressed. It isn't specifically in here. And I don't know, we'd have to go through Neil and Public Works and City Attorney and to do all that. But I go to Neil's comment that there's some, can't think of the word you use, the subjectivity that we have based on the information we're given. So while we don't have that in the code, doesn't mean that we don't have the ability to, a new person has joined our group. That we have the ability to make those decisions based on our position here and our knowledge. Okay, that's a really good point. So thank you for putting up this.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree.
Did you see my hand?
Any other?
There is something.
I'm sorry, James.
Yeah, can you unmute me? Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're
You are
unmuted.
unmuted, James.
Okay, there is a section in your ordinance. It's 12.16.070, section F, findings.
That's the safety, right?
Mhm.
Right, and it says, in item 2B
No, 2A.
or 2A. Yeah,
2A.
the danger of falling, proximity to existing or proposed structures, and or interference with utility services.
Right, and then it has to meet those additional findings, but it doesn't address this. I think we just need to get more specific. I think that's what Elizabeth was commenting on. But yes, it does have, you're right, those issues are in the original code. Anybody else, Allison, that wants to speak, or?
I'm looking for any additional raised hands in our audience. If you're calling into the meeting, you can use *9 to raise your hand. It looks like there's no further public comments.
Thank you, Allison. All right, so I'll bring it back up. Ladies, would you like to discuss this? Or if one of you is ready to make a motion? Yes, no, I know these are always difficult. I guess my view on this, or my comments on this are, we had the one letter. I think it might have been helpful. Often when there's a hearing, we get the good comment and the bad comment, the yays and the nays. And so if everybody in the neighborhood isn't opposed to the tree coming down, often large mature trees in people's yards aren't just their beauty or affecting their yard. And so we don't have any of those comments, anybody in the neighborhood, but we also don't have any negative comments of anybody, any of the adjacent neighbors. So.
Yeah, I think I'm ready. Thank you. I'm just rereading these sections of the code. It's always helpful to have that in mind. I think I feel that the protest, that making a motion to let's see, to not honor the protest. How would I?
Approve the removal.
To approving the removal. I feel compelled by the report here. I do think that, the issue of trees under power lines is really compelling to all of us. And I appreciate the applicants, tree removal applicants' desire to replace it with something that is more appropriate and in scale for that location.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yes, I will second that. I do, anytime we approve the removal of tree, it's always a little challenging. But I do think we have to balance that with safety for not only the homeowner, but the adjacent neighbors as well. And clearly this is a tree that's had ongoing issues as far as interfering with utility lines. So I would second the motion.
Thank you both. Any discussion? Since it's just the three of us? I agree. So I would ask Allison to call for a vote.
Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Sunshine,
Aye.
Vice Chair Friedel.
Aye. Thank you all. Cindy, if you're still out there listening, thank you. Karen, thank you for your comments. And James, thank you if you're still there. Neil and or Franklin, this now goes to what happens now?
I will issue a notice of decision of action by the Park and Rec Commission. I'll copy Franklin on that, and we'll issue the permit for removal expediently.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Okay. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you, Neil. Good evening. Stay cool. All right, business items. There's no other new items. But Franklin and I see Rita here. So item 6, your report. Does that include Rita?
Yeah, it does include Rita. So so as you know, Super Cool Summer School started on Monday. And a big applause for Nick Stone, my rec supervisor, who got that off to a great start. We had a last minute scare where we thought we weren't going to have a baker, but we put the word out, we got a baker, so we didn't have to cancel anything, but everything is running smoothly. Even though the mask mandate, got lifted on the 15th, we are still requiring all of our students at Super Cool Summer School to wear masks, because as you know, children are still not being vaccinated, so we want to make sure that they're all safe and they come in. So so far it's done really well. I think Nick said he's been doing really good. It's a little calmer this year, but our classes are much smaller. We are also starting, once this is done, we're going to start planning for the fall. So we're really excited about, we're hoping to do more things in the fall, but we just got to get through the next few weeks. And then Kinder Camp will be in August. We still got one more camp to go through, but we're hoping to get a lot of this stuff planned out in the next few weeks that we have ready for the fall. So, and that's where we want to make sure we can at least get some programming and then get our regular programming at least up and running. So, but again, a big shout out to Nick for who's handled all this, and it's, like I said, got it going. And so far we haven't had any complaints. So I'm really happy about that. So it's going really well. So the other part is that if you've noticed it in Piper Park, we've had a lot of construction going on, and I have lost my little email with the list, but yeah, I'll let Rita talk because she has the better timeline of what we've been doing and how things are going. But a lot of the projects that had been put on hold have been going into place. So, and Rita can update everybody on that real quick too.
Okay, thanks, Franklin. Hi, commissioners. Franklin or Allison, could you allow me to share screen? I have some photographs, so I just thought it'd be fun to do a show and tell.
Okay, it should be accessible now.
Okay, great. Hold on 1 second. Here we go, desktop. Okay, so we have a couple of, sorry, how messy is this look? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not yet. We just see your files.
Okay.
So.
Okay, can you see the photo now?
Nope, not yet.
Yes?
No.
No,
Oh, what?
we just see your file list.
Oh, man. Okay.
I just see Rita stop the share and then see if you can see it when you go to share the screen if the image is open in your share screen file.
Oh.
Or minimize your file box
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
behind it.
All right. All right. Do you see the picture?
Nope.
Nope.
No? Oh, hold on. It says my sharing screen is paused. Okay, well, never mind. It's not that important. I just wanted to show the picture of a bunch of trees have gone in, some nice mature trees have gone in. And then so that's the shade improvement portion of the project. So that would be the picnic area. So we have some 9 mature maple trees that have been installed, and we got great trees. I mean, some of them they're pretty tall. They're like 6-7 feet tall, and they're supposed to grow a couple of feet a year. So we'll start getting some nice shade in there in the next couple of years. And then the concrete, the performance stage went in. Looks good. It's got some wood grain, it's concrete, but it's got wood grain and it's colored, so it has a nice look to it. And then a path that leads into it. So the music in the park that Nick can now just, rock on. And then over at the volleyball court, we got the second court, all the new sand has gone in. So now they're both the courts are the primo volleyball grade sand, the professional volleyball grade sand. And so Nick and I were out there yesterday, the day before, and there's already, it's in full swing. So it's been fun to finally get that project completed. So that's sort of phase 1, and then phase 2 will be in a couple of months. We're in the process right now of getting the engineer drawings done for the shade sails. So that's just a long, the engineering takes a bit, and then the fabrication takes a bit. So we're about 2 months out. Probably September is when we'll see the shade sails go in. So that's and then that'll be the end of those two projects for right now. Also wanted to give an update on Hamilton Park. So everything's signed up, and then the landscape architect, myself, and the Quanbecs, who are the donors, we'll be doing a kickoff meeting next Friday. So it'll be the first time the three parties get together, and then, you know, just go over, just do a site walk, look at the park, discuss ideas, and then, so that project is about to get underway. So it's a healing process for them, and you know, it's just a feel good project. So thank you guys too for you know, the support in that. Yeah, I think we'll all feel good, you know, have a nice warm feeling in our hearts when that one's complete. And then the last project I wanted to bring up, and this is brand new. I don't think I mentioned it before, but I had yet another donor come forward, and he lives in the Baltimore Canyon, and he's down this, you know, he's his house is down the stairs or up the stairs from right across from Dolliver Park, and he has two small children, like a year and a half and 3 or something like that. And so he goes down to Baltimore or to Dolliver Park quite a bit, and he's noticed that there's really nothing for children under 5 to play with except for the tot swings, which then requires parental involvement. So when that project was, when that park was redone, this was, you know, during Mary Grace was in charge of that project. So for some reason, the fact that there was nothing for 2 to 5-year-olds was just sort of overlooked. So he came forward and said, hey, you know, I spent a lot of time there with my kids, and I'd like to donate a play structure. So conversations, you know, and now we're at the point where I have just some preliminary designs for him to look at. He can look at what the budget would look like. And so if he's on board with the cost, then at the next meeting, I will bring forward, you know, just the next step in that. And I just wanted to give a little bit of a forewarning that it might require that we remove a piece of equipment. So I'm sort of creating the PowerPoint right now. And so I just, you know, I didn't want to hear the collective gasp next month. So just letting you know that this might be coming down the pike. So just a little cliffhanger there. And that's it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Rita. Thank you for always making our park so live and keeping them beautiful, and all the extra work you and Nick put into it. Huge shout out. And we didn't get a chance before you started. I'm sorry. Thank you, Nick, for getting super cool summer school going under extraordinary circumstances. I know you're there. I think I heard the littles in the background, so you went silent for but thank you so much for everything you both do. It's amazing. Mr. Franklin, do you have anything else on your?
No, that's it. So right now it's still, we have these new guidelines. It's pretty much open it up. So we just need to start planning. Having the stage in is a huge boon for us. So we'll get that going. And I know once the shade structures get back in, and yeah, it's just exciting that we got the trees. Rita is so fast. Like I thought, for me in my head, I thought this is going to take months, and then it's like it's done. It was so quick. So Rita and Nick kept keeping me posted. I was like, wow, I was just amazed at how fast everything got done. So it's just those few more shade structures that they're waiting on. But it went really fast from us being at a standstill to getting all this stuff done. Rita and Nick have done a great job of getting all this stuff, and yeah, so we'll have more stuff for you at next month's meeting. But yeah, that's really all for now. So, and we do have one person in the works, a rec person to help Nick out in the office, that they'll be in for a few hours a week. But we have that in the pipe works. We're just waiting for background check to clear. And then we're also waiting from HR about a community service assistant that will bring back a full-time person that's shared between the two divisions, between the library and recreation. So that will also give Nick some help. But yeah, it took us a while. I was hoping to have this person on board before Super Cool Summer School started, but the background checks take forever. So, but we're getting there. So I'm hopefully by the fall, we'll have some really good stuff lined up. But yeah, we just got to make it through the summer, and I'm still looking forward to when all the kids are vaccinated, because then we can really stop worrying about stuff. So, but otherwise, that's it, guys. So thank you for coming tonight, and so and that's all I have to report today.
I have a question about music in the park. As the wrecking crew supports that, when would we envision that maybe happening? Is there a
Well,
long-term plan?
that was what I was sort of hoping, maybe September, October, when the weather's so cool. But then the other thing in my back of my head is like fire season. Hopefully we won't have any big problems, knock on wood, that it'll be a quiet fall. But that was what we were hoping to have something. And I know we've been approached by the Larkspur Community Foundation, I think, that to help support, get some music in the park. I did forget that we are doing, I had emailed you about this, team, but we did include recreation in this year's sort of summer reading program application. I created a recreation challenge that people can load into the Beanstack app, but it just really is just activities that people can register to do. And it has stuff like going to the park, doing some outdoor activities, going to the beach, and stuff all around the county that they can join and log into. And then I was hoping to have some prize that we would give at the end of it. So for people who register and do these activities, we had it incorporated into summer reading last year, but this year I really made sure that it was one that's focused on recreation and recreation in town and around the county. So it's just us getting the word out. I think me and Nick are still working on a little newsletter that will go out to the recreation list, but we've been promoting it here at the library. And it's, like I said, it's part of our Beanstack app, which is an app that the Larkspur Library Foundation paid for, but it allowed us to create a challenge where people just do activities instead of reading. Because even though I told people, let's say it's a reading log, but really you can do these activities and earn little digital badges. So we included all the parks in Larkspur. We included like national parks. So we're encouraging people to go around the county, to go camping, to do stargazing, to do fun little activities. Because we also knew that without having a huge, super cool summer school, we wanted to still give people a way to be active this summer. And again, we're also hoping that the Larkspur Walkers will start up again in the fall. We're still waiting to make sure that our volunteers are comfortable with everything. And so far they weren't all comfortable yet. So we're just gonna wait a little longer before we get them up and running. Even though we know some of them really want to start walking now, it was our volunteers what we're trying to make sure they're comfortable working with everybody. So those are all things coming back. But yeah, I'll reach out to you again, Jeannie. I don't know if you got the email about the wrecking crews. So.
I don't remember seeing it. I'm sorry. So if you'll send it again,
Yeah, I'll send it again, because what we're hoping to do is, at least with people sign up and when they win, we're going to try to raffle off a little prize. So like to give away a picnic reservation for next year, and maybe some other prizes for things around town. So
perfect. And I'm sure I think I saw everybody write down the app that we all should be looking at. So if you could send information, I think we'd like to see that too.
Yeah, I'll send it out to the commissioners again, because the big thing is just spreading the word and getting the word out. And I know our reading program it sort of takes it over, but it is one of the challenges in the app. So, and it's easy if you do put your age in it. It only shows the stuff that's age appropriate for you. So, and it's that one's for basically I think it was 13 to 100. So anybody old enough could log in. Little kids, we hoping the parents would do it as a family. So.
Okay, great. Yeah, if you could send that, I think that would be great.
Yeah, I'll send it out to you guys.
Perfect. Is that it, Franklin, for you?
Yeah, that's it for me. So.
All right, commissioners, does anybody have a commissioner's report? Vicky,
I would like to mention that the new dog bags, litter bags that are being installed are biodegradable, and people are very happy about that. I don't know who is responsible for it, but it's really nice to see. And there's been lots of talk amongst the dog people of how pleased everybody is about that. And then I did notice that we're getting some new picnic tables along the Corte Madera Creek path. And that looks like that's going to be a nice improvement in the area. So thank you.
Thank you. Lisbeth?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone and Nick and Rita and Franklin just for, you know, as we're coming out of all of this, just for keeping us going under really difficult circumstances. And I have to say, through all of this, every single person I've spoken to has so appreciated our incredible open spaces, our parks, the fact that they've remained open and available to everyone. It's been a really, I think, a huge contributor to people's mental health. So just a big thank you. And I, like all of us am so appreciative that we have this out there and that it's just we're stewarding this for the future. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you for that, Lizzie. That was lovely. Nicely said. Just a quick report on the Commons Foundation. Lots going on. And if you've been out walking around the Rose Lane, the thermometer is up so we can track the money raised. We had a little glitch. We listed 4.5 million twice, but it's been fixed now. So there's a thermometer up there that's tracking. Our goal is, of course, the 5 million to start phase 1 in that upper corner. And we're at 1.3, 1.1. But I'm about to go, I have those little books. I'm going to stick some more books up myself and get us to 1.3. So like I said, and we are meeting with the HOAs from Rose Lane next week so that they can have their voice. And we're meeting with Councilwoman Catherine Way and Mayor Haroff will be at that meeting. So that's it. Moving along. That is all I have. I will entertain a motion to adjourn unless anybody has anything else.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I don't think I can. Thank you. All right. Thank you both. Thank you, everybody. Rita, Franklin, Nick, thank you all. Meeting is adjourned at 7:17. Thank you, Allison.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Bye,
Allison.
everybody.
Bye-bye.